The Philadelphia 76ers have been linked to Zach LaVine as they look to acquire a third scorer to go along Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Now, we're also going to discuss how the Chicago Bulls have been playing as of late without Zach LaVine in the lineup and how that is affecting his trade value and making things more difficult for the front office. I'm your host, Joey Mercer. This is another episode of Bulls Digest. And before we get into it there today, I just want to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It means a lot to us all here. And I'm actually going to bring up the graphic to let you guys see that we did hit 1,000 subscribers. We're now at 1,038. I'm glad that all of you could be here to join us on the journey. And we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep giving you this content for the unforeseeable future. And every single day, we will update you on the Chicago Bulls. So make sure, if you aren't already subscribed, to subscribe to the channel. Because about 88% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. And it would mean a lot to all of us here if you sub to the channel. It's free to do. Go down below, hit the sub button, and you will be able to follow all this content and keep up with the Chicago Bulls each and every single day. It makes a lot to us. It means a lot, so it means the world to us here at Bulls Digest. And without further ado, let's get into the first topic of today, and that is the Sixers in on LaVine. So yes, the 76ers have come out and said that they are interested in Zach LaVine, and it's no secret that they do need a guy to play wing for them alongside guard Tyrese Maxey and center and MVP top running candidate right now, Joel Embiid. They need somebody to take the load off of those guys, as the Chicago Bulls actually beat the 76ers the other night, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that they did not have a third guy that could score the basketball, and all of the production came out of Embiid and Maxey. The report that I saw was on Bleacher Report and was titled NBA Trade Rumors, Bulls Zach LaVine and Raptors OG Anunoby monitored by the 76ers, and that was posted by Aaron Walsh. So when we look more into this article, it actually started by saying the Philadelphia 76ers have been one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference this season, but that doesn't mean they aren't searching for upgrades ahead of the February 8th trade deadline. The Sixers are monitoring the likes of Chicago Bulls veteran Zach LaVine and Toronto Raptors star OG Anunoby. The Athletic and Stadium's Shams Charania reported Thursday on FanDuel TV's Run It Back. So as we look into that, you can see the tweet from Run It Back FDTV saying Zach LaVine, OG Anunoby, those are two names to keep an eye on as guys that Philadelphia has monitored. Shams Charania on the Sixers monitoring the marketplace, and the video was right there with Lou Williams and Chandler Parsons down there as well. And when we looked more into this and more into the article, strangely enough, it's very clear to see that the Sixers need that third guy. It makes sense that they're looking for LaVine. Not as much sense for Anunoby as he isn't near the score, but maybe they're looking for that 3-and-D type of player if they can't get LaVine, and just looking for what's open on the market available for them to kind of build around. Morey is definitely not a, he's a very smart GM. He isn't a stupid GM. He knows what he's doing. He knows the players to put in place. Sometimes he does things behind the scenes that aren't exactly the best idea, but when it comes to winning basketball teams, he knows how to put the best players out there on the court so that these teams can become winning basketball teams. The next thing that we saw was LaVine is one of the NBA's hottest trade candidates this winter, as the Chicago Bulls continue to fall out of contention in the Eastern Conference. He was first linked to the Sixers last month when Charania reported on the Rally that the franchise was among the teams to have a level of interest in acquiring him. Now, we did talk about that actually when that dropped. That video's here on Bulls Digest if you like to check that out and then source back to here. But here is the tweet. The tweet actually saying, teams that are expected to have a level of interest in Zach LaVine, I'm told, are the Lakers, Heat, and 76ers. And that was NBA insider Shams Charania on a potential trade for LaVine. And we have talked about how the Heat didn't really make sense as they wouldn't have the right pieces, and that could be the same said for the Philadelphia 76ers. What are they able to give us, and what are they able to offer us that other teams aren't in return? And in my opinion, I don't think that they have the pieces to, outmatch other teams. But it's really hard to say in the NBA, and you never know what teams are going to make trades amongst each other. It could be a nudge, nudge, wink, wink for the future, and that's where we don't know when it comes to just value, and there could be things down the road to happen as well in the NBA. Next thing. we saw was LaVine hasn't played since the November 28th loss to the Boston Celtics due to a foot injury, but he was having a solid season prior to hitting the shelf, averaging 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists in 18 games, while shooting 44% from the floor and 34% from deep. While numerous other teams have been linked to LaVine, including the Los Angeles Lakers, who are viewed as the favorite to land them, one of the biggest issues in any deal for LaVine is his contract. He has 3 years remaining on his deal with a player option for 2026-27 and is owed $178 million over the next 4 years. Considering he hasn't been consistently healthy over his 10-year career, taking on that type of contract has been tough for opposing franchises to justify. And I think it's a little bit more than just the contract. They're worried about the defensive woes. And to be honest, those numbers I just mentioned, they look good box score wise until you get into the percentages, being 44% from the field and 34% from 3. Both of those are below league averages, but they're also numbers that are much higher from LaVine usually, and on that small game sample size, you would want it to be better, and it just hasn't been. So teams will be taking more of a risk, and to see that the team is playing much better without him is another reason to be worried.